Tunji, and I'm from Caesar Graphics. All right, so I have two designs here from the group members, and this very first design is for a quote here. I like the concept of this design. I like the fact that we have the needle and the thread showing the letter B, just that the way the designer did it here is not really perfect. So I'm going to quickly show you guys how I expect him to do the B here, because the concept is to make the cuff part of the letter B have the thread look. So what this is what I expect the designer to do. So I'm going to, okay, so before I even get to that part, okay, I need you guys to know that another way we help brands tell the right story is through logo design, all right? And we are in a world where we are judged by our appearance. So our logo design is also important where how we want people to look at us is concerned. So if our logo design is not looking professional, people won't, want to relate with us. In fact, they'll start looking at us as a cheap brand or the organization as a cheap brand. And every good logo should stand out on a store shelf. Most of the organizations that we all celebrate today, you see that they have good logo. But I'm talking of organizations like Nike and Apple, Adidas, and so on. Most of these organizations understand that if their logo is simple, it will make people know that they are professional. Every successful logo must look professional. So whenever you're working on logo design project, have this mindset of doing something that is simple, that whenever they put it on a billboard, the logo will stand out. To achieve this, make sure you make your logo design simple. All right, always make it simple. Don't make it too big, see, and don't tell the whole story. That's another issue I noticed that we designers always face. We always try to take we always try to put everything about the organization on our logo project. Please don't do that. I'm talking of people who do logo design for brands that do other extensions. Like, let's say, for example, we have this company who is into selling of clothes, and then they sell bags, they sell shoes. I know some designers are good at putting the shoes, the clothes, and everything on the logo. We don't do that. Okay, let's go straight to how I think this designer is supposed to have made this logo look better. So if I'm going to be fast with this. So I'm going to draw this to serve as my thread, and I mean the needle, and I'm going to make the width 9. Let's just make it 9. All right, and zoom in. Right click. I'll go to object and expand this. All right. Now, when you click on the expand option, what you're trying to say here is you're trying to convert the stroke to a fill object. So I'm going to click on the OK button, and I'll go straight to my selection tool here and just move this out a bit. Okay, and I'll go to my pen tool here and just add a point here and delete these 2 points. I'm going to draw a shape here like so. This here, right? Then I'll shift. No, I'm going to put this here. I'll make a copy of this by holding on Alt and drag, and I'll select the 2 objects and weld it. All right. So there are better ways to do this, okay? But I'm just trying to be fast so as to not to make this video too long. So I'm going to position this here like so. I'll change the color to white. Okay, so let's draw the P now. So this is what I expect the designer to do. So I'm going to go to my text tool now and I'm going to click B, capital B, right? This here. All right. So for this type of logo, I'll prefer to have this side of my B smaller than this side. All right. So let's see if we can get a type that looks like what I'm looking for. This would have worked well for what I'm looking for. Or you know what? Let's just rotate it. So I'm going to put it this way. Right click, transform, select reflect. And this should face the other way. Okay. So it's here. So So now this is not this is not going to be the look of the B. All right, I'm just using this as a reference. Okay, so I'm going to create a new layer and put this on the new layer, and I'll reduce the opacity of this. All right, so I am going to create here, reduce the opacity, lock the two layers, create a new layer, and I'm going to select my pen tool here and start from here, like what the designer did. Okay, so this needs to be no fill. This should be stroke. So it's here like so. Then it's here. So it's here. So it's here. Like this out. So it's here. Alright? And I'm going to fine tune this. Here, drag this out. Okay, so right, this should go. We don't need this anymore, so I'm going to close this. Right? So it's here. I'm going to add more stroke to it, make it thicker. So there's something called making the your drawing work together. So what I'm going to do here now is I'll look at the width of this side of my needle here and use it to create the width of my thread here. So I'm going to do this manually because of time. I would have loved to, if this happened to be a project I'm working on for a brand or for a client, I'm going to take my time to do. But because of time's sake, I'm not going to be able to do that. So I'm going to increase the width of the stroke like so, and I have this. All right. So this is looking more like a thread compared to what we have. All right, so I believe you guys get my point on this. And another thing again is I like the font you use here. Beautiful font. All right, this is beautiful for this type of logo. But next time, okay, I would advise you allow space. All right, allow space. Space and like so, and make sure that your letters, like your words, align. All right, so I'm going to move this in.
On this second logo here, this was sent to us, the brief on it says the company wants to run a tomato factory. They want to supply fresh tomatoes from farmer to end users. So they are providing infrastructure for shelf life of the tomato and supply in order to save the farmer from loss and stress of marketing the tomato. They are saving users the stress of getting it from the market and the cost. All right. So the idea of the logo is sliced tomato and a factory building. Okay. So I think here is trying to depict the building, and this side is the leaf from the tomato. Okay. So the issue I have with this is that people may find it difficult to get this side. I'm sure when they see the leaf here, they understand, okay, it's a tomato, but this shape here is going to get them confused. All right. It's going to get them confused. So whenever you're working on logo design projects, okay, see how you can make the focus 70% obvious, like make it show, make it easy for people to see. All right. Because when the focus is missing, it's going to get people confused when they are looking at the logo. Okay, so I'm going to teach you guys my trick on how I come up with logo design. Okay, and let's start from the things that the designer mentioned here. So he mentioned tomato, and then he mentioned factory. All right. And I'm sure that the factory is what is trying to achieve here. So let's see how we can combine both the tomato and the factory together on the logo, or to make the logo. So I'm going to switch my screen now, and let's see what the picture of a factory looks like and what a picture of tomato looks like. So I'm going to switch now to my browser here, and I already have Google open, and I'm going to type tomato here. Okay, so it's already there. So this tomato. And, so this is what tomato looks like. So we're going to pick. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pick one of the tomato here and then see the shape of the tomato and see how I can use it to create uh, the logo. Okay, so let's scroll down. I think I prefer this. Alright, so I prefer this. So I'm going to drag this and drop in my Photoshop. Alright, so let's see what the picture of factory looks like. Now, if you look at the image, the result I got from Google here, you realize that most of the factories I have here have something that shows a pipe and smoke coming out from them. This is one example here, all right? And this is another one here. So what we need to do now is to just pick one of the image. I'm going to drag this and drop on my Photoshop application here. So I'm going to scale this down. Okay. Now this is where your creativity now comes in. So I'm going to scale this down like so. I don't need this anymore. So what I'm going to do is to create a new layer again and fill it with white. All right. So we need to now find a way to combine the two images together. But remember, like I said, that the focus you need to make sure that at least 70% of the focus is visible on the logo. So our focus is the tomato because that is the reason why the company exists. So I'm going to draw a shape what my logo is going to look like now. Let's just create a layer above it. Select the brush tool, and so my logo should have this, this. All right. So now if I hide this now, this is not looking like tomato, right? So let's see what other details we can pick from the tomato to make it look like it's a tomato. So one of the things I notice here is this, and I notice we have this here and this here. So now if I hide this, now you see we're beginning to have the tomato look. So now how are we now going to merge the two images together? So what we need to do now is we can't have the entire building. Remember I said earlier that putting everything about the brand on your logo is going to make the logo look too busy. It's going to get people confused. All right. So let's see what we can pick from here. So we can always use this, which is the pipe, to replace, and this is what I need you guys to catch. Okay, see what you can replace the other image with on the focus. So I'm going to, let's say if I pick the pipe, if I draw a shape like this, and I have this, and I do this, all right, it won't really look like tomato because we need to have something called, all right. So I'm going to move this, and let's see if I can create a new one. Have this and have this. Okay. Okay. So all right. So okay. So let's see if we can use the smoke. So I can have something like this to serve as the smoke. All right. But we can't have this like this. Okay, we can't have it like this. What we need to do is to find a way to brush it in such a way that it will look more professional. All right. So now I believe if I sit down on this, I'm still going to have other options from uh, the combination of the combining of the two images. But because of time, I'm going to stick with just this. All right. And let's see what this is going to look like by recreating it. All right. So I'm going to go to Illustrator now, and we don't need this again. I'm going to delete this. Now, what I'm going to do is to draw a shape. Remember what our tomato looks like. All right. So I'm going to go back to Illustrator now and just draw something similar to what I have there, which is this. All right. So I'm going to switch this to black. Okay. And I'm going to go straight to my direct selection tool, and just because if you look at a tomato here, or better still, let's just drag the image and drop here. Okay, let's just put the image here in Illustrator. So I'm going to copy that, hit Control C or Command C and paste it here. All right. So I'm going to position this here. Like so. All right, and I'm going to put this on top of it. So this need to be about this. So it's need to be here. This visible. Need to do this. This fix here, and make this look like so, and position this here. All right. So then I'm going to rotate it a bit. So just tweak this. So this need to go up like so. So okay. All right. So to draw this part here, what I'm just going to do is because I can't have this part because less is also more where logo is concerned. So we need to find a way to make the logo simple but still pass the right message. So if I draw this side of the tomato, it's going to make the logo too busy. All right. So we need to now find a way to take out some of the things that we can take out so as to help the look of the logo. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to draw I'm going to draw with my pen tool here. So I'm going to draw here, right? And draw here, like so, and just end it here, like so. Okay. Now there are times. Now see, guys, this business called graphic design is about breaking rules. Okay. You don't say because we have this effect here on the tomato, then you now follow the same uh, the same layout that you have on it. No. All right. At times you need to just change things so as to help the look of what you want to achieve. Okay. There, if I turn this tomato, if I turn the tomato to this direction, like if I turn it, you realize that what I drew here is still what you're gonna get. All right. So please, guys, see how you can play with like see how you can play with your drawing so as to um give you a pleasing result. Okay, so I'm going to position this here and move this here, like so. Move this here because this side here of the tomato is very important. So you need to make sure that you add it to your drawing. So I'm going to move this here, here, this here. Okay, then I'm going to add more stroke to this, and this need to go down a bit like so. Okay. All right. I think we are making sense now. All right. So I'm going to delete this. I think I don't need this anymore. All right. Then I'll go to Object and hit the Expand option here. Click the OK button. Then I'll fill this with black and take out the outline or the stroke. So select the two objects, and so I'm going to select the shape builder tool here and just take this side out from right. So this side here is not nice, so we need to find a way to make it curve. All right, now I'm going to click here and click on this icon here, click here and do the same thing, and come here, do the same thing here and do the same thing. All right, so I'm going to drag this down. Right, all right. Okay, no, so another thing I want you guys to avoid when coming up with logo is you need to avoid all these sharp corners. All right, if you look at this, my corner here is looking too razor sharp. All right, so you need to watch out for that when coming up with logo design. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to take this in like so. All right. I think this is good. Okay, so we are getting there. So let's see how we can create our smoke drawing here. I think I still need to make this more smoother. Okay. So another reason why I decided to make this space here wider is because space is very, very important where logo design is concerned, because by the time they scale this logo down, you realize that this line here is going to look tiny. But if I had made this space here tiny already, by the time they scale it down, this space here will get lost. And this is what I'm trying to say. So if I scale this down, so you can see it. So imagine if I had made this smaller before scaling it down, I'm sure you're not going to see that space anymore. So space is very important where logo design is concerned. So let's see how we can create our smoke. So I'm going to make my, oops, I'm going to make my grid visible. It should be somewhere here for now, and I'm going to zoom in. I'll draw a shape here. So, all right, let's turn on snap to grid, and I'm going to switch this to stroke. All right, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, and 4. This needs to be on the fourth. I'll drag this and position it somewhere around here. All right, and when you are doing this, please make sure that your shapes overlap on each other, right? So I'm going to turn off snap to grid because I'm finding it hard to move my shape to where I want it here, like so. All right, so I'm going to use the shape builder tool now to make this look the way I want it. So I'm going to hold down alt and take this. Oh, sorry, I'm supposed to select the objects. All right, so I'm going to use this and just hold up. I'm holding down alt now, and I'm going to move this way and hold down alt again. And let's see if I push this way. All right, and just select the objects again, and I'm not going to hold down anything this time. I'm just going to select this way to weld the objects and move this down because I don't need these two shapes. All right, so it's time to fine tune your drawing. So if you notice, if you look at my drawing here, you see I have this sharp corner here, so we need to fix that. So I'm going to select it and use my direct selection tool and select that point and hit the curve point here, and you see that is looking nice already. So I'm going to do the same thing again here, and this is good. All right, so this is going to serve as my smoke. All right, and I'm going to move this out a bit. So drag this up and scale this down, right? Because if you look at my drawing, if you look at the image here, you will realize that the smoke don't share the same size. This is looking bigger than this, and that's what I'm trying to achieve here. So this is going to come here like so, and this smoke is serving as two things on the logo. This is serving as the leaf, and it's also serve as the smoke. All right. So I'm going to switch this to black, and then I'll go back to view and turn off guides, right? Hide guides here. Put it here. This will come here, and this should position itself here, like so. It's looking too big, so I'm going to make it go down to share tool. All right, there's a share tool here. See it? It is here. So I'm going to move this up like so, and I think we are done, right? So we can change the color of this to red and change the color of this to gray. And then we can now have the name. The company's name is Tomat. Yeah, it's Tomat. I remember. It's Tomalt. And the font I'm going to use is let's see. All right, this is it. I like this font so much. All right, so I'm going to make this bigger. So another thing I always like to do when I'm drawing logo is this. I always like to see if it's going to fit in a box. So, and this is good. It's nice. So I'm going to delete this. You can even rotate this a bit and just put this down. So if you are now going to define this, you can now say, okay, this serves as the factory and this is the tomato. All right. So I'm going to position this here, and we have the logo. Yay! All right, no, now listen, guys. This is not the only solution to make this look better. All right, there are so many options, so many solutions that you can come up with. This is just one of them. Okay, and if this happened to be something I spend time on, I'm very much sure that I'm going to come up with something even far better than what I did here. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's design review. So if you have not subscribed, remember to hit the subscribe button and remember to click the bell so you get notified when I post my tutorials. Share this video with your friends and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.